What's up guys, Brendan back again today with another video on the channel. Today, we're doing another movie review today. And what movie, pray tell, are we reviewing? Well, today, we are reviewing Argylle, the movie. Yeah, we're reviewing this movie today. I was originally going to have this poster on the table like in a frame displayed for the review. Decided not to do that because lazy. And also, I don't really want to look at the cat the entire time on the table. I don't think the rest of you do. I don't know. So, not staying up here. Okay, usually we do reviews for movies on such stuff as DC, Marvel, Star Wars, Transformers, Ninja Turtles, like, whatever, all that kind of, like, geek-related stuff over on Geek Culture Talk. Is this gonna be an episode of Geek Culture Talk? I have no freaking clue. I also have no idea how good the lighting is, because these lamps, they can't really tell they're reaching me properly. Can you tell it's the first time I'm using this table, because I have no idea where they exactly put the lamps yet? And I've also got just a Toronto Maple Leafs blanket down on here right now, because I don't have a cloth yet. We'll work on that. I'm not even sure if this is going to be on Geek Culture Talk. I have not decided. More than likely it won't be because it has nothing to do with any geek-related topics. But, you know, I saw this movie and thought, hey, I kind of wanted to review about it because I just did. I feel like I can make a good review about it and have good discussion on it. So, I don't know. I thought it'd be kind of fun. I mean, would it be more relevant to do a movie like Madame Web? Because that just came out much more recently when I'm recording this. No, because that movie can go suck an egg. Although, I did do a YouTube short review for that movie, though, so if you want to go check that out, I'll leave a link for it down in the description below. I'll also leave a link for my Letterboxd review of the film as well, so you can get the full detailed thoughts on it. Yeah, that film's not good. But this film will still be mostly relevant by the time this review gets out, because it'll still be 2024, so that's relevant enough. Unless we get this out in, like, 2026, which by that point, there'll be Argylle 2. Maybe. Also, I'm not sure if you can tell yet, but I don't need this mic actually at all. I have a little mic here. I don't need this mic whatsoever. I just thought for good effect it'd be cool to have. What's up? Okay, so Argylle. First off, this is going to be non-spoilers to begin with. We will go into spoilers later on, so stay tuned for that. But for now, if you want to go into this review with no spoilers, then I got you covered. So we're going to go no spoilers right off the bat. So here we go. Argylle. Not good. Like, Hollywood, do we need to have a discussion here? Like, do we? Because, like, January was like last month, and that's usually the month you dump all the shit movies there, the ones you don't really give a crap about. But this month you released Argylle and Madame Web, and that's not good. January had Beekeeper, which I thought was actually kind of okay, and Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1, which was also okay. Why are these films in February? They should be coming out in January, goddammit. Okay, so what is the plot of Argylle exactly? Well, the plot of Argylle is as follows. The film follows our lead character, Ellie Conway, played by Bryce Dallas Howard, who's a famous novelist. She's particularly famous for writing a bunch of spy novels about a fictional spy named Argylle, played by Henry Cavill. Until one day, while she's trying to figure out the final chapter for her next book, she is intercepted on a train by a real-life spy named Aiden, played by Sam Rockwell. Which turns out, the books that she's actually been writing have been somehow coming true. What she writes about ends up becoming reality. And now an evil spy organization called the Division, led by Bryan Cranston, are now after her for her abilities to somehow predict the future of her books. So Aiden is tasked to protect her, while also him and his boss Alfred Solomon, played by Samuel L. Jackson, require her help to steal back some information from the Division. Along the way, there's a bunch of other characters you meet in the movie, including Ellie's mom, played by Catherine O'Hara, and more fictional characters in the world of Argylle, including Argylle's partner Wyatt, played by John Cena, the fictional villain Lagrange, played by Dua Lipa, and also another one of Argylle's allies, Kira, played by Ariana DeBose. So right off the bat, this film's got similar vibes to the film Stranger Than Fiction. It was a film that starred Will Ferrell, who was a regular man until one day he discovers that apparently his whole life has actually been dictated by a novelist played by Emma Thompson, who's written about the whole thing. And yeah, it's a comedy but also a drama film, that one. And it was pretty good. And that's what this film kind of reminded me of, similar vibe there, where Ellie's writing about these spy books, but it turns out they're somehow becoming real in the actual world of espionage. So now stuff's happening. And that alone was an interesting concept for me to go watch the film, but also the cast alone is like, you know, a massive A-list cast of some terrific talent. So, I mean, that's also a good way to get you hooked on a movie. But also the director of the movie is Matthew Vaughn, who's a great director. He's a director who's made films in the past like X-Men First Class and Kingsman: The Secret Service, two films that I quite love. He also did make the Kick-Ass films, which I've never seen either one of them, but I've heard people did like them as well. The first one probably more so than the second one. He also did make the rest of the Kingsman series, like The Kingsman: The Golden Circle, which was a sequel I saw once, and I thought, you know, I liked it. I probably would like it a little bit less maybe next time I see it, but I enjoyed the first time I saw it. Did not like the prequel one he made, The King's Man. That one wasn't that great. So, you know, overall, I guess like a 50-50 shot he has with this film. But, you know, either way, it's Matthew Vaughn. I'll go watch Matthew Vaughn, whatever, because he's great. But yeah, unfortunately, this one just wasn't it. He didn't hit today. He just was not on the mark with this film. I don't really know why. I mean, I have reasons why this one doesn't hit the mark. Okay, so let me get into why I think the film didn't work majorly. Like the major reason why I think the film didn't work was that the film had a major obsession with just trying to subvert expectations and trying to shock you. And I can't go too much into spoilers about all that just yet because we have to wait till we get into spoilers, but that was a major thing this film had going for it, or like not going for, but it was just doing, where it was constantly trying to like surprise you and the audience watching it. And like, it doesn't work because when you're a movie trying to do that constantly, you know, it kind of like after a while, you feel like you kind of get numb, like your brain gets numb to the film and like the subversion, the shocks, cause like they're always just like, oh look, but no wait, how about this? Oh shit, how about that? Oh but did you see that? Like it's just like you just kind of get numb to it after a while. It's like, what do I focus on exactly right now? Because you're just throwing a lot of shit at us like nonstop, and it's like I can't really keep up with it all right now. So I want to say around maybe near the end of the first act or like start of the second act, there's a twist that happens there in the plot, which I didn't see coming, I didn't expect, so I was like, okay, that was interesting, didn't see it coming, like I said, but it should be interesting to see where it goes. But then once that like happens, it's like the film just then goes downhill from there, because like after that, like I said, is when it's just constantly just trying to shock you every like few minutes, 30 some minutes, like who knows, like it was too much, it was really too much. By the end of the film, you're kind of like just sick of it. Like, Shyamalan doesn't even do this many twists in one of his movies. Like, maximum he'll have, like, 1 or maybe 2 in one of his movies. Like, just 1 or 2 per film. This is, like, 6 or 7 times it tries doing, like, this kind of crap. And, like, you know, not saying, like, trying to, like, surprise your audience is a bad thing. Like, not at all. Or, like, trying to subvert expectations. That's not a bad thing either. But it's just, like, you need to know when to stop and, like, how many times to do it. And this film also... it does, after a while, it also just doesn't work. Like, after a while, a lot of these surprises just, like, they feel just stupid and unnecessary. One film that I think does do the subvert expectations pretty well, in my opinion, is The Last Jedi. And yes, I'm one of the people who does like The Last Jedi. We're not going to get into this. I'll go over it quickly, but basically, like, the subvert expectation of the film with Luke, basically where, you know, we as the audience were going to this film expecting him to be, like, this like total badass, like since the original trilogy, he's done so many like cool things. He's just been an absolute hero and like worshipped and like just being this awesome dude still to this day. I mean, he is still like worshipped and like also considered like a big hero. But obviously, of course, in the film, they subvert your expectation by showing that he's still flawed. You know, he is human. He is still capable of making mistakes, which it does lead to where he makes a mistake with Ben, obviously, which leads to a lot of bad things. And, you know, again, he's still considered a hero in the movie, and then he still worships. But at the end of the day, still, like, he was human. Like, even though at our best we can be, like, you know, we can still have flaws and mistakes that we are capable of doing, which I personally enjoyed that. We're going to end that discussion right here now. But then there are films that do bad subvert expectations, like Thor Love and Thunder, for example. A film that we all thought was going to be good because Taika Waititi's directing it and he made Thor Ragnarok, and that was a good movie. But it turns out it was shit. It wasn't good. I had no actual good, like, representation for a bad subvert expectation film. I couldn't really think of one. But if I must, I'll keep going forward now beyond just all these, like, the bad, like, surprises they kept throwing at you in the movie. Because there are some other problems also I have with the film as well. Like, another problem I have, like, I mean, okay, this is connected to that still, but, Aiden, the character of Aiden. I feel like out of all the characters, I mean, some of the other characters too, like Ellie doesn't do it, is not great with her, but like, so Ellie and Aiden, but to start off with Aiden, so Aiden, like, at the start of the film, Aiden is he's cool, he's fun, he's a bit of a badass, he's a good character, but then as the film keeps throwing, like, or lobbying surprise after surprise at you, you know, I feel like it's to the detriment of Aiden, because I feel like it lowers and hinders or downgrades his character a bit, because now he's just like, he's less fun, he's not really as he's just not as engaging because of all the surprises. They just kind of like mess him up as the film goes on. And Ellie also, like, she also, to the detriment as well, with the surprises to her, they don't do her character any justice as well, honestly. Like these surprises, they just do mess up some of the characters, like particularly Ellie and Aiden. I don't think it works for them a lot. But to finally move on from the surprise factor of the film it was trying to accomplish, which didn't work, some other stuff about the movie. First off, the first act is pretty good. Like, when the film started off, it was pretty solid. It was pretty fun. I was really much enjoying it. I mean, again, it helps when you have a lot of, like, just funny, charming, charismatic actors. I mean, the stuff, of course, the movie begins with, like, the fictional world of Argylle with Henry Cavill and John Cena and Dua Lipa and the boys. You know, it's great. It's very much a riff on James Bond and everything. So, like, that's all fun. And, you know, Cavill, he's great. He's very fun in that stuff. And boy, did people love Henry Cavill's haircut he had in the movie. Everyone loved it, didn't they? People were probably thinking, damn, this is going to be the most controversial haircut in any movie of this year. And then Deadpool 3 trailer came out. But yeah, that stuff in the fictional world is cool. You know, the train fight you have, which you see in the trailers, was fun also. And, you know, seeing Aiden and Ellie work off each other was a lot of fun. Again, all the actors I'll say in the film, like, they do sell this movie. I mean, like, I don't think the material is great by the end, but, like, a lot of them do sell it a lot. They do work good with what they got. But unfortunately, another thing I found about the film that did not work early on, and it's also a little bit throughout the movie as well, is that when Ellie first meets Aiden and when they, like, start talking about the spy stuff and when she sees him fighting on the train for the first time, like, her viewpoint of him, like, as she looks at him, like, it's constantly switching between, like, Aiden and Argylle. As she looks at him, like, he'll just turn into Argylle, like, sometimes. And, like, it's not throughout the entire movie, don't worry. It's not like that's constantly happening, but it's only happening, like, majorly only in 2 scenes, and there are, like, 2 other scenes where, like, she's just talking to Argylle herself throughout the movie. But yeah, it's not major with Aiden. It's only in, like, 2 scenes with him. And, you know, it's a funny idea. It's a funny scene because, you know, Ellie, because he makes a joke that Ellie has a certain vision in her head of how spies should look and act. Like she thinks that spies should be like buff dudes, like with like well-cut suits and like good hair and like be handsome and British accents. But then, like, when she meets an actual spy in real life, Aiden, he's not well dressed. His hair looks like crap. He's perceived as not as handsome, I guess, as Cavill, which is, I guess, an insult to Sam Rockwell. Oof. But to be fair, he has, like, long hair and a long beard when she first meets him as his, like, disguise, which, like, he kind of looks like Psychowitz from the Nickelodeon show Victorious. Who got that reference? Argylle, like, handles, like, thugs and henchmen pretty easily, and he just kicks their asses, like, without effort. Whereas Aiden, like, you know, he can handle them, but, like, still will get his ass kicked a few times throughout the fight. And there's even another point where, like, 2, like, hench women come in to start fighting Aiden, and during that scene, like, again, swaps between him and Argylle. And Argylle, we see, like, you know, in it, again, sort of like James Bond, he, during the fight, just has the 2 women, like, wrapped in his arms, and, like, they're kissing him on the cheek, like Bond. But then it cuts back to the real world where Aiden, like, he's not, like, lucky with the ladies. He can't swoon them in the fight and just gets, you know, his ass kicked again by the ladies, but still defeats them in the end. But yeah, like, that, she just thinks spies all look like that, so, or act like that and everything. So it's a funny scene, a funny contrast for her to see what a spy actually is. But the problem with that, with the times this does happen with Aiden, is that, like, I don't know if I like it or not, because, again, it's a funny idea and, like, a good, interesting idea on paper, but I don't know, the execution on it is a little weird, because, like, again, like, as you're watching these fight scenes, like, again, it's constantly jumping back and forth between Sam Rockwell and Henry Cavill. It feels a little confusing to watch because, like, again, like I said, she views, like, them as totally different how they act as spies. So, like, one is, like, you know, handling the fight really well, whereas the other is not handling really well. So it's almost kind of a little confusing. Not like confusing, but, like, a little just weird to try and watch and follow, because, like, this is a little strange. And like, it only happens, like, in 2, like I said, only 2 action sequences are like that with Rockwell and Cavill. But, like, I can't imagine even on set that must have been hard to do. It must have been almost a nightmare to film, because, like, either, like, they're filming one whole scene with Rockwell and then the whole scene again with Cavill, or like, they film the scene with Rockwell and then they pause it and then pull him out, bring Cavill in, film it, and then pause it, pull Cavill out, and bring Rockwell back in, and vice versa, which must have been a nightmare. At some point in the film, Ellie does stop imagining Cavill or, like, Argylle, but even then it feels weird when she stops imagining Argylle, because you feel like she would stop imagining Argylle once, like, you know, we come near the end of the movie and she accepts the spy stuff, what it actually is. But no, he kind of vanishes like pretty early in the movie, like around the middle act. And then he's just kind of gone throughout the rest of the movie until of course the ending of the film where, you know, she finally has written like the final chapter of the Argylle book and you see Argylle pop up again. So yeah. Another thing about the film I found was just not great was the use of Samuel L. Jackson. Now, again, Samuel L. Jackson, like the rest of the cast in the film, does a great job. Like Samuel L. Jackson, he's just one of those actors that, like, it's hard to like find a role he's done where he's not giving like 100%. Well, maybe the Star Wars prequels, but to be fair, like most people are not on their A game in those films. But you know what I mean? Like he's usually always giving 100% because like Jackson, like I think like last like a few months back in 2023 at some point, he said that he would rather do like 10 Marvel movies than like do a bunch of Oscar bait films. Like he's just one of those actors who loves to do anything. He doesn't care what he's in, which like that's awesome because Samuel L. Jackson is the GOAT. So, I mean, it's cool he's in the film still, but, like, I just feel like, you know, so, like, comparing him in this film to another film he was in recently, which was The Marvels, where I felt in that film, he was kind of aimless in the film, where he's kind of like, I mean, he had a plot to do in the movie, but, like, he's, in his, like, side plot in that film, he felt kind of, like, aimless, like, wandering around trying to figure out what exactly to do with this storyline he was given. He just felt a little aimless in that film, whereas this film in comparison, he just feels wasted. Like, I mean, again, he's important to a capacity because he's the leader of the good guy organization, but like, literally throughout, like, most of his screen time in the movie, like, I'm not kidding, like, and again, he's not in the film too much, which, I mean, makes sense. He was given, like, the big, like, and credit at the end of the film. He's like, and Samuel L. Jackson. So obviously, probably you don't expect him to be, like, majorly in the film since he was given, like, the big, like, kind of and Samuel L. Jackson credit at the end of the film. But like, even then, like, the amount of screen time he has in the movie, like most of the screen time he has in the film, I'm not joking, is literally just him sitting at his desk watching basketball. Because when Aiden and Ellie go to infiltrate the division to steal back this information they need, you know, obviously he's just hanging back at the base, just waiting for them to send him the information so that, you know, he can do as he needs to with it. So like literally every now and then they cut back to him and he's just watching a basketball game and, you know, just vibing. And, you know, eventually he does start doing stuff when they send him the information and he's trying to, like, you know, he's just waiting for it to, like, finish, like, downloading properly. But then, of course, back at the villain base, like, some crooks keep interrupting him a few times, so he gets, like, mad. But then, like, once they finally finish downloading properly, he gets excited like a happy child, which, I mean, again, he does a good job with what he was given the work of in the film. He's great. Like, he's always great. But, like, again, he just felt, like, wasted in the film. Like, he just felt like he was not utilized the best he could have. Like, again, literally, he's just watching basketball, like, the almost entire movie. Like, he's just vibing. Like, it's like literally Jackson just, like, came to set and was like, yeah, I'm just gonna be on set watching the game. And, like, yeah, Jackson, we got a film there. Yeah, just film around me. I won't get in your way. And they're like, okay, sure. Like, that'd be hilarious, actually, if that was the case. I would have so much respect for Jackson if he just did that. That'd be the most hilarious thing ever. But there was also just some, like, more general dumb stuff in the movie also. Like, just very simple, general, just stupid things. I was like, what? There were 3 things in particular that I found were very stupid. One I'll talk about in spoilers, but the other 2 were so simple in how stupid they were. So when the movie begins early on, like when we're at Ellie's apartment, you know, they start playing the new Beatles song, like their final song they released recently. Which I was like, oh, okay, interesting. That must have been that was obviously a very last minute addition they made to the film, but all right, I guess they just wanted to have the song in the film, which that's nice. It's all right. So that was fine. But then they bring the song back later on in the movie, and they so quickly make it make no fucking sense. So at this point in the film, Aiden and Ellie were like on a mission now to try and like, you know, infiltrate the division, and this song starts playing again, and like Aiden starts talking about how, yeah, man, this song, me and my girl back in the day, this was our song. And, like, the girl he's talking about was from, like, 5 or 8 years ago. Can you tell me at home how that doesn't make sense? Like, I shouldn't have to. He's saying that, yeah, this song was, like, me and my girl 5, 8 years ago. This was our shit. What the fuck are you talking about? This song didn't exist, like, 3 months ago. It only came out 3 months ago. Like, literally, it didn't. I mean, obviously, yeah. They wrote, like, part of that song, like, decades back, but, like, it wasn't released officially to the public until, like, this past November. And, like, like, oh my god. Like, the simplistic nature and how simple they fucked up this logic. Like, how could, because again, last minute edition, this was clearly made because again, came out like only 3 months before the film. So like, what thought process in their head were they thinking when they realized, hey, excuse me, let's make this song like an important song to Aiden's character and his history, that it was important to him and his former love, you know, it's part of his past from like 5 or 8 years ago. That, they must have known how that makes literally no goddamn sense. That's like if I went ahead and made a rom-com film that was set in the 1985, and like it's about two people who like reunited from like their high school prom from back in the 70s, let's say, and they're like, they start listening to this song that was played at their prom like now, and they're like, oh man, that was our song, me and you, the slow dance on the floor back in 1975. Oh yeah, it was Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball. Somebody would be like, are you fucking high? And like, it'd be like one thing if it was a lesser known song, but like, it's a majorly known song. It's like the Beatles aren't like a little group. Like, did you really think you were gonna pull that one over our eyes? Like, you weren't. But then if you want to get the more actual stupid, like just dumb shit like they were doing. So at one point near the end of the film, they're in this room at the villain's base where a bunch of oil canisters open up and like oil spills out across the entire floor. And the thugs are now like, okay, we can't shoot guns now or else all this oil will just light up and explode. So guns are no-no. Which then makes Ellie like realize something, because she has like ice skating skills. She knows how to ice skate. So she forms a plan and tells Aiden, here's how we get out of this without using guns. So she takes her and Aiden's knife, attaches it to the bottoms of both her shoes, and attaches another knife to her gun, and then proceeds to ice skate across, or oil skate across the whole floor with the knife attached to the gun and just like stabs people. And again, do I need to explain how it makes no goddamn sense? Like, even though there's oil on the floor, it's still a metal floor. Like, you're not gonna ice skate across that. The minute you try skating across that, you're just gonna take one step and just go face plant on the floor. Like, huh? And even then, like, isn't that gonna still cause like sparks? Like, you're scraping metal on more metal. Like, they're sharp knives. Like, is that not gonna cause some kind of spark? And especially because you're, again, ice skating across the floor, like, you're certainly gonna cause some kind of like spark. Like, she does like a whole pirouette spin near the end. That's not causing any kind of spark to catch the oil on fire? I guess not. What do I know? I guess I don't know anything, but like, it was so stupid. They just like, they wanted a cool ice skating scene, but it's like, well, this makes no sense. Again, even if like, you can't ice skate on oil, like, it would have to be frozen oil for it to skate on. It's just liquid oil. It's not, she can't skate on that. And also the final act battle of the film was like, whatever, because again, by that point, you're just like, I don't care after all those surprises and shit you kept throwing at me. It's just whatever. But yeah, that's the ooh, shit. Okay, so before we actually get into the spoiler section of the film, let me give my rating first here quickly for the people who are not sticking around for spoilers. My rating for the film is a 4 out of 10. It's like I said, it's not good. There's good moments, like, you know, there is some good action sequences. You know, all the actors are giving good performances with the material they're given. You know, there's some funny lines and everything. You know, the first act is pretty solid. You know, it just kind of really goes downhill from there afterwards, around the middle point of the film to the third act. It just goes down from there, and it makes the film a 4 out of 10. So there you go. All right, so now if you don't want spoilers, get out. We're about to go into spoilers now in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so the twists in the movie. There's about like 6 or 7 of them in the movie, if I can remember. And like, they just get more ridiculous as it went on. So the first twist being that Bryan Cranston was Ellie's father, and that also both Catherine O'Hara and Bryan Cranston were both bad guys. You know, that was, you know, was interesting. It was like a fine twist, but like, didn't see it coming. So I'm like, okay, I'm curious to see where that goes. But then the next twist where Ellie is revealed to be actually the real Agent Argylle, and that her real name is R. Kyle, like Rachel Kyle, and she got, you know, brainwashed by the Division to think that Cranston and O'Hara are her parents, and that she's just this novelist named Ellie Conway. You know, that whole twist, it was interesting, and again, I didn't see it coming, but like, at the same time, it's like, that raises a bunch of questions, because you're telling me And, you know, it'd be one thing if she had, like, dyed her hair black, made it into a bob cut, put on an accent, and was just some schmo working at Starbucks. No, she's a famous novelist and who did not change her hair at all, did not put on any kind of fake accent. She's, like, exactly the same, pretty much, in, like, how she looks. Like, you're telling me nobody at all who knows her was gonna see that? Like, family, who's maybe not aware of the whole, like, spy stuff she was doing, would see her and go, that looks like my daughter. What's up with that? Like really? But also, she, like, way too quickly remembered being a spy, I think. I mean, like, it took her still a little bit to remember exactly certain things, but still, she was like, oh yeah, I was a spy. It was just not satisfying. And here I am thinking, okay, this is probably the last, like, major twist they're gonna throw at us. Yeah, no. So, then they throw a twist at us that, oh, psych, apparently Ellie, or Rachel Kyle now, we'll just keep calling her Ellie for simplicity's sakes, she really was a double agent the entire time, or, like, well, no, of course, when she got brainwashed, she forgot about that part, but, like, prior to the brainwashing, memory lapse, she was a double agent for the Division. It was just, yeah, and I was like, okay, now they're throwing a bit too much in there. It's just a bit too much for this story. Like, okay, it was like, all right. But they keep going at it, because then it's like, okay, and then psych. You think Ellie had turned to the bad side now, or remembering that she was a double agent, and so you thought, okay, now she turned bad, remembering that all that, and then she killed Aiden. Psych, that was all not real. She didn't actually turn to the bad side. She was actually still good, and Aiden didn't die, which we'll get into that part. And also they were lovers. They were the ones who were in love. So there's that. Which I think we all expected. Like, I feel like that's the one thing I think we can probably all agree on from the trailers. It was like, yeah, okay, they're gonna make Bryce Dallas Howard and Sam Rockwell's characters, like, fall in love. That was obvious a mile away. You didn't need to, like, go to the movie to see that part. You knew that was gonna happen. But also, here's another twist that happens. Okay, so Ariane Du Bois was a fictional character in the Argylle books in the movie, but then as the film goes on, we learn that Ariane Du Bois, his character Kira, was an actual real person in real life, which is showing, you know, lapses in the memory. Or, sorry, no, I'm wrong. I forgot to mention, so yeah, in the movie we find out that Ellie was actually writing what she knew, or like was subconsciously writing the stuff about her actual spy life into the Argylle book, so she is Argylle, obviously, so Argylle, which means, yeah, I already said that part. Wyatt, who's John Cena, supposed to be Sam Rockwell. But Kira was, like, just a straight up a real person that she fully just adapted into the books. And, yeah, Kira died at one point back in, like, the day when Ellie was, before she was brainwashed, something like that. But then we find out that Ellie, or, god damn it, we find out that Kira was actually not dead. In fact, so she actually was the one who sent in this email to Ellie earlier in the movie, because at one point she talked about how someone sent an email to her about how she could bring back the character of Kira, who she killed off in the last book, in the later book. She could bring her back in the next book. Turns out that was the actual Kira who suggested how to bring back Kira. Because apparently, she got shot in... So she was shot in a specific way. So she was shot, like, around the heart area, but where the bullet entered around the heart was, like, it was just above the heart. Like, it was just kind of, like, inches above the heart, so it just missed. So, like, it didn't kill her, but as long as you stop the bleeding, you're fine and you don't die. So it's like, okay. And, like, which that alone already throwing Kira into the plot that she's actually alive. And, like, it did almost nothing. It literally does nothing having Kira actually be alive at the end. It's just like, hey, look, she's not dead. It's like, cool. That's doing nothing for the plot right now. But, like, that sounds ridiculous as it is. But here's the thing. She then uses that tactics. Again, like I said, she emailed Ellie that earlier in the movie. Well, not earlier in the movie, but it's like, at some point she said previously that she got that email saying how she could bring back Kira in the book. So, that's how she stops Aiden from dying. Because that's what she does. Because when she's trying to prove loyalty to the Division and everything, she shoots him in that specific way. She shoots him, like, right above the heart and like, just inches above it, and managed to stop the bleeding when she takes, I forget what she took off him when she went over to his body afterwards. No, but she stopped the bleeding anyways, and he came back to life later on, not that long after the fact, and he was fine. Which, okay, here's the thing, okay, it's one thing if, like, you were randomly shot by someone who, like, was just kind of randomly firing at you, which is what happened to Kira. She got randomly fired at. It's one thing if you were randomly shot at like that, and it just so happened a bullet that hits you in that specific area. That's, like, super dumb luck. that's one thing. It's another thing if you are intentionally doing that, because the amount of goddamn accuracy you have to, and again, yes, even though I know she's like a trained spy, so she can do that, but still, the amount of accuracy to hit that, to shoot such a specific area of the heart, like you have to be so like precise on the shooting. Like that's like so insane and like just convoluted to do. It's like that was the third like just kind of logically dumb thing. Like I'll let it slide for like just happenstance if it just happens to happen. But if you intentionally try to do that, that's so dumb. Even Aiden acknowledges how like that makes no goddamn sense. That is so stupid. But then she's like, well, it saved her life, and he's like, okay, I guess it's not stupid. It still is stupid. You don't say it's not stupid because you're alive. Sure, I guess you can say it's not stupid because you're alive, but like it's still stupid. It's so that part was just so dumb. Just like friggin' Deadshot or Deathstroke or someone from DC, like or Punisher, trained like marksmen from DC Marvel Comics would look at that and they would be like, yeah, that's a load of shit. But then we get another twist because you think the movie's about to be done because they stopped the bad guys, they got the information needed to Solomon, which I forget what the hell the information even was. Honestly, like I literally don't remember what it was because again, literally all the twists that kept happening just like were like screwing my brain. Like I literally don't even remember what the hell the information they were stealing back was for. So like I don't know. But like anyways, so they're at like Ellie's like final book conference for the final book in the Argylle series, ended it all. And there's talking and answering questions, talking about, oh yeah, this is what all the characters are gonna do after now they've completed their mission, which is also referring to what they are gonna do in real life. But then, out of the blue, shock factor, here comes Henry Cavill, who's among the people. He asks the final question, and how he's got some big questions here, and Ellie recognizes him and is like, oh shit, wait a minute, that's actually Argylle, the fictional Argylle. And that's where it ends. And it's kind of like, huh? You just had to throw that final one on us there? Because, like, so this is what I was thinking, like, a few days or so after I saw the movie. Like, is that even a twist? Because my mind was that maybe the reason Argylle looks like Henry Cavill was because Henry Cavill modeled for Argylle. I mean, we can't really tell from the books that they show off in the movie, but my assumption is because Ellie has that specific image in her head of Cavill, and like my thought process was kind of like, well, maybe she just hired a model for the cover of the book or something, or just for something promotional for the book. Because like I think like a lot of novels, not a lot of novels, but I'm sure like some novels have done that. Like they have hired just some model to just be the face model for the character on a book cover. I'm sure it has. I've definitely seen that before. Have happened before, and like because even like video games do that all the time as well. Like obviously, of course, you have like actors who voice characters in video games, or like sometimes even have the voice actor also motion capture for the character, so like their face likeness can also be the same in the game. So like people like Christopher Judge, who does Kratos in God of War, he's both the voice actor but also motion capture and did a facial capture, so it was both his voice and his face in the game. And then of course there are other people who just do voices in games. But then a lot of time in a lot more modern games, they'll have one guy doing, like the voice actor will do the voice or sometimes even the motion capture, but then they'll hire someone to be the face model for the character instead. Like this happens like this was in Mortal Kombat 1 and Marvel Spider-Man 2 and like and a lot of other games in like you can think of that do that, where they have one person the voice and also the motion capture, but then there's someone else entirely as the facial model. So like I thought maybe that was the case, that was probably it. But then again, I guess she maybe knows Cavill from her history, but then again maybe she doesn't. I don't really know if she knew Cavill from her spy history, because then comes, you think we're done, but like no, there's a mid-credit scene with one final spoiler, or like one, sorry, my brain's going everywhere right now. With one final twist to throw on top of the movie, which is that, surprise, this is set in the Kingsman universe. What? So this movie here and this, like, it's in a shared universe apparently. Why? I literally sat there in the theater and was like, huh? Like, it wasn't like a cool reveal. It was very, I would say, a dumbfounded reveal, like, and now we're a part of the Kingsman universe since when? Because, like, this, like, reveal in the credits feels like, in a similar vein to the Split reveal at the end of that movie, because Because Split, of course, you know, it was one of Shyamalan's movies, so we're going back to Shyamalan again in this video. But yeah, Shyamalan, of course, Split. It was a film about James McAvoy's character. I think the main guy's name was Kevin, who has a bunch of split personalities. He was a psychopathic killer and everything, and yada yada yada. But yeah, that film, throughout the entirety of the movie, you're watching it, and it's like, there's the twist? Because usually Shyamalan has a twist in every one of his movies, but like there's none in this entire movie. And then you get to like the mid or post-credit scene. I don't remember at what point it happened. I think it's like a mid-credit scene. But like you get to that, and that's where the twist comes, where it reveals, obviously, of course, that Bruce Willis' character from Unbreakable is there, and it reveals that Split is part of the same universe as Unbreakable, which then led to a 2019 crossover sequel movie, which was Glass. And yeah, but that's what this feels like here. But the difference between the two of those here is that one. And it majorly, again, it's just all the twists on top of Argylle as it is. Like, again, like 6 or so beforehand, and that was already so many, and it was already becoming, like, just mind-numbing and annoying, and it was just tiring. So, like, by the time you chuck this other one on top, this bigger one that's now in the Kingsman universe, it feels just, like, so tired. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm so done. I don't care about these twists anymore. It's ridiculous. Like, why should I care? You keep chucking them on top of each other to like one up the other. And like, whereas with Split, when they did that, that was the one twist of the movie. Like, at least I think so. I only saw Split once. But, like, I know that was like that was the twist of the movie though. And like, I don't know. It's just, it was so out of nowhere. I didn't like that reveal. To me, it's just like, again, all the twists on top of it already did not help the twist of the Kingsman reveal at the end, which, like, are we going to do something with this then? Like, is there going to be more Argylle sequels? I don't know. I doubt we'll get a sequel to Argylle. Are we going to see the Argylle characters come back in a future Kingsman movie? Kingsman 3 is still on the way, and I think still is a sequel to the prequel one, so I don't know. And then Cavill's British, so, look, I'm not going to care seeing Cavill in a Kingsman movie. Cavill's awesome, but still, it was strange, and, like, I don't really know. I don't think that the characters at the end of this, in this after credits scene of the Kingsman, have already been in the Kingsman movie. Or no, there's no Agent Argylle in the Kingsman, so I don't really know. It was such a weird thing. I don't know. But then again, also, like, if this is set in the Kingsman universe, well then, frick, you have like 2 Samuel L. Jacksons, because there's the villain from the Kingsman and now Alfred Solomon in this movie. Very confusing. And even then also, like, Sophia Boutella, who's also was in the Kingsman, is also in this movie briefly, so like, I guess ignore that. But I don't know, just like, maybe that could have been cooler and a more nice surprise, but like, because, again, so many twists as it is, it just does not let that impact become as strong as you think it should be, because you're just so sick of it at this point. Also, can Argylle and Kingsman even cross over? Because Kingsman was a Fox movie, and Argylle is a Apple, like, and Universal film, so I don't know. Also, I guess the last thing I'll say, there's like one final like sequence in the movie, or like fight scene in the movie with Aiden and Ellie, where they're like in a hallway throwing a bunch of colorful smoke grenades that, like, I feel like should be cooler, but I don't know, it didn't feel as cool. I mean, I think because there's too many different colored smoke cans, I think, that were just, it was too messy, almost, I felt like, so, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's it for my thoughts on Argylle. Yeah, it's, like I said, it's 4 out of 10, there's potential here, the idea is solid, it's like, it's a potential, great actors, but just, execution was overall bad. Like, the script writing of it was not great, because, like, again, there's too much focus on just Shock and Twister, the movie Twister. There was too much emphasis on the movie Twister in the movie Argylle, which is very strange, because the sequel to Twister is going to be called Twisters. This part was just off the cuff now. Too much emphasis on just subverting expectations, shock factor, and twists in the movie, and just, you know, detriment to the film itself, some really dumb factors. And yeah, some sequences near the end also weren't that great, so yeah. So yeah, that's my review on Argylle. What did you all think of it if you saw Argylle, or even interested in seeing Argylle? I have no idea if you are. Yeah. I hope you liked this review. I certainly had fun talking about this movie with my silly antics I had here. It wasn't much besides this microphone that I still don't need. Yeah. Who knows? I don't know. We'll do other movie reviews like this, or like other. I don't know. I don't think we'll do other movies that aren't like geek related, like related to some kind of like media franchise. Like I don't think I'm not sure if we'll do other movies that aren't tied to a franchise like that in the future. I just feel like with this one, because I don't know, I just feel like I could get something good out of this one. I had some interesting things to talk about. I thought because an interesting like bad movie. I felt. I guess at the end of the day, it's not an unwatchable film. It's just like Madam Web I find is unwatchable. That's just garbage. But like this one, I guess at least it looks like nice mostly to look at again, and the actors are solid. They're all good for the most part. So it could be worse, but you know. So yeah, I guess I don't know. The next review will be whatever the next review will be that we do. But yeah, if you did like this review and want to see me review other films that are not like tied to like comic books or Star Wars or Transformers, then I do suggest going over to my letterbox, giving me a follow over there. I review basically every new movie I watch, or also review any movie I rewatch. Usually, I'm usually reviewing movies over there pretty frequently. So yeah, go give it a follow. Leave the link down in the description below. And yeah. Thank you all for watching. Once again, tell me, did you like Argylle? If you've seen Argylle, what did you think of it? If you've not seen Argylle, have I persuaded you to see Argylle? I have no idea. So, yeah. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys all later for next video, whatever that might be. So, yeah. See you guys all later. Goodbye. Can I also just say, like, it's weird that, like, that cat was so big in the marketing. Like, it's not, like, so big, but it was kind of, like, pretty prevalent throughout some of the marketing, but it's not even that major of a thing in the movie. And also, Henry Cavill's listed as the main character on the poster. Like, he's credited first, and also on posters. Like, he's usually front and center first, even though he's, like, not in the movie a lot of the time. It's really Bryce Dallas Howard as Ellie. I don't know, that's weird.
Hey, it's Yuri Lowenthal here. You might know me from this Marvel Spider-Man games, or other places as well. You're tuned in to 100 Bomb Studios. Hit like and subscribe, but only if you like really, really nerdy stuff. Because that's why I'm here.